Alwyn is one of the best and most underrated epic commanders in Call of Dragons, so stick around in this video because I will be explaining why he has that status. What's up guys, MEOWER here back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. So in continuation of the Commander series Revamped, we'll be going through yet another epic commander, and the commander in today's video and today's spotlight is Alwyn, the Master of Poisons. Before we get started, if you like guides, journalistic videos, and so forth and so forth, please consider subscribing to the channel as it helps me and it helps the channel tremendously, and of course drop a like and all that good stuff. Now, without further introduction, let's get started. Alwyn is by far one of the better epic commanders, and for good reason. His kit provides so much value in all stages of the game. He provides a lot of CC, decent damage, and just a very flexible commander that can be placed in multiple marches and can be paired with other commanders. We will be going through his skills, his talent trees, and who he can be paired with and how you can maximize his use. So let's get started. So his skills are as follows. His first skill, the Venomous Overgrowth, deals damage and deals constant ticking damage, and it also decreases march speed by 10% for 3 seconds. If they are suffering from any other debuffs, that deal magic damage, they will do additional um, damage, but that is the awaken factor. So in a way, you are dealing a lot of magic damage over time, plus the initial 600. So overall, you're dealing up to 1,100 magic damage, which is pretty good for an epic commander, all things considered. His second skill is that magic attack units, so whether if it's Vestals or Celestials, gain magic attack and HP. His third skill, he takes less normal attack damage in the open field. And finally, he has potential to ensnare anyone that attacks him, which does hero skill damage to the attacker and has a 15% chance to land. Overall, very solid kit, pretty good. Now, what makes Alwyn good is that he has access to the control tree, the PvP tree, and the magic tree. So he has some potential builds, but in my opinion, since he is an epic commander, he will fit more of a support role. So we're gonna run him control tree primary and magic tree secondary. We're gonna run the standard attack, but since he is an epic, we're gonna run an overall speed just to get into fights faster and cast his debuffs more and more. We're gonna add even more speed, and we're gonna do attack. We're gonna do some rage generation, and then we're gonna add the soul siphon in order to steal rage from the enemy. Normally I would go for cyclone, but stealing rage is even more valuable. We're gonna add a magic, rather a huge slow. We're gonna do some defense break, and finally we're gonna add some synergy in order to decrease the enemy's attack. And finally, the rage skill. And for the magic tree, we're gonna go for the standard magic HP, rage generation, intimidation, and finally magic minstrel. That's it. And the last extra point, you can even put it on another intimidation, or you could put it on tremble, though I do recommend tremble. The second tree will be the massive defense break tree, where you help out your allies, and you should probably coordinate with your allies this when you're running this build in order to maximize its value. So you're gonna go for the PvP tree as your primary tree, but we will not go for Magic Mushroom on the secondary tree, and I will tell you why. We're gonna go for Rage Generation. We're gonna go for Army of Valor, more move speed, some damage, even more damage, and finally we're going to go for Breach Blade in order to break anyone's defense when we hit them for 10 seconds, for 5 seconds by 10%. What are you gonna do? Then control 3 secondary, and finally high spirits in order to rage generation more, and finally soul siphon. However, this is not the build I would recommend you run on him. I highly recommend running this build and only this build on Alwyn just to maximize his value as an epic commander and as a primary, because all he will be good for is just dealing constant crowd control, slowing the enemy, applying the silence, and so on and so forth. That's it for his builds. For his pairings, I would recommend running, if you're going to run him primary, I would recommend running maybe a villain behind him if it's not your primary mage march. So if it's not your primary mage march, I definitely recommend running villain behind him. Otherwise, if it is one of your primary mage marches, I would say Lilia followed by Alwyn secondary, just to maintain that constant DPS from Lilia's Scorch and his damage per second from his Thorns, the Friend of the Hemlock, and his Venomous Overgrowth. However, I do not recommend pairing him with Voldir unless you're a free to play. If you're a free to play, I would say Voldir primary and Valiant secondary for sure, just to make use of the extra DPS and damage from the skill tree and the magic tree combination. And of course, you can run Valiant Alwyn, but I do recommend Alwyn as primary over Valiant just because if you're gonna run this march, you're gonna run it for the constant source of DPS, not or rather constant source of CC, not for DPS. Now, how you can obtain his sculptures? You can obtain his sculptures from the regular gold keys. You can obtain it from the Dragon Trail shop sometimes as he appears there, from the regular store here if you're lucky. And finally, you can obtain his shards from the VIP. If you are VIP 7, you can choose his shards to gain them on a daily login, or you can buy them here for gems at 20 sculptures for 3,200 gems every single week. That is it for the Valiant Guide. If you like videos like this, please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Meow meow.